Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ella Thorpe from Tustin Longevity Center. This is the Integrative Functional Clinic here in Southern California, Tustin. And we are a group of 7 healthcare providers, and we are focused on trying to prevent illness and disease and to promote prevention type lifestyles that will help you stay well and boost your immune system. If patients see us and they have a medical problem, we try and restore them or help them achieve their greatest degree of stability or recovery. We are here tonight on the TLC Ask the Doctor or Talk to the Doctor so that we can provide another educational opportunity for patients, their family, and friends to ask any question. I have been practicing medicine for 41 years, and I've done that full time. So we have that as a opportunity for you to try and run some questions by me. But this is not meant to be personal medical advice. Rather, this is just to be generalized advice. If you have any acute problem that needs attention, you need to contact your doctor or call our office if you're one of our patients, 714-544-1521. We are meeting and having a chat on the chat. If you're on YouTube, you can type in your question in the chat. The other thing is, if you look down at the bottom leader, you can see at the bottom of this there is an email to email your questions to. I get these email questions given to me right before we go live, so I don't have a chance to really pre-screen them, but I'll do my best. If I don't know something, I'll tell you that. If I need to look something up, I try to look it up and get that before the next week. Sometimes it takes me 2 weeks. With the holidays and all, I hope that everyone had a very wonderful and Merry Christmas. And we're on the 3rd day of Christmas today, of the 12 days of Christmas. And New Year's is next weekend. So those resolutions and plans we need to start talking about. In general, I did 3 days of fasting, a water fast before Christmas Day dinner. So I ate, the last I ate was Thursday at dinner, and I try and always eat before 6 p.m. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday at dinner, then I had our nice Christmas dinner. I made a simple chuck roast with vegetables, and then I made a special holiday cake that a woman who helped me when I was on active duty. She was a bride from Austria who married an American serviceman, and they had the little home across from us. So when I moved there with my young son, Talon, and then the newborn Brighton, they came and were like surrogate grandparents. So being German Austrian, she made a lot of German meals and taught me how to make a holiday German cake. We called it the Mutter cake. And so every year we make that, I make it, and that was our treat. So that's the only thing I had. I didn't have other, hors d'oeuvres and stuff. It was enough to have that wonderful roast and the treat cake. And then we put on top of the cake 2022 in candles, because we sing happy birthday to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and his birthday would be 2022. So it's a tradition our family has, and we had a wonderful time. And I enjoyed all the grandchildren there and the little tree. So I pray that you all had a great time. Today, however, was a very sad day for me in that we had to put down our family dog, my son's dog, Snoopy. And that just happened 2.5 hours ago. So if I get choked up, I didn't put any makeup on except for some lipstick, and I have my tissues here because sometimes, when I talk about life and how precious it is, just seeing my whole family come together, father, mother, brother, and and then the dog, all to be with him just as he was passing. So he was about 16 years old, and I'll just tell you his name was Snoopy, and that's the beautiful dog who we just sent on his way. And that's in my backyard in our pool. And that he was in a kayak there. My husband has a kayak. He does kayaking, and so Snoopy can't swim, and so we had to put him in the pool on the kayak. So it was kind of fun. So I have this little picture of him now. So now he's memorialized on YouTube forever, and his memory will always be in our hearts. Even the Bible talks about how a man who fears the Lord takes good care of his animal stock and is good to them. So I have to say that they did a great job taking care of them. So anyway, that was just 2.5 hours ago. So I'm a bit emotional. And I just am so committed to life and to how precious it is in every single one of us, even our animals. And it is just a joy to me to read my Bible every day and to remind myself that God sought so much of us human beings that he would send his only begotten Son to die for us. And it helps me to get my perspective right when I come to see my patients, how we have to take responsibility for our health. That's a unique thing about our American nation. Our Constitution is individual responsibility. And so we here at Tustin Longevity Center are trying to do everything we can to help each and every one of you see how valuable you are. And this Ask the Doctor, Talk to the Doctor is a opportunity to just meet every week. If I can't see you but once or twice a year, you have to know that I'm always studying, I'm always looking, I'm always reading. I'm reading Dr. Bregan's book right now. I think the title of it is COVID-19 Predators or something like that, and We Are the Prey. But it's a thick book, and it's like a legal document. There's over 2,000 references to back up everything in it. But I like that kind of stuff, and it keeps me focused. And it helps me, and hopefully it helps inspire you to know how dedicated we are to staying on top of what's going on, because you matter. And your decisions about your own health matter. So I would certainly say it's an honor and it's a privilege to care. Even for a dog. I was cooking this morning because I really did give myself some days off for a change. This is the first Christmas I think I've ever taken several consecutive days off in decades. And what a wonderful thing that is that the Lord chose to let it work for Brighton, to let his dog get put down. I think Snoopy was about 16, 15 years old. And I was cooking and making a treat for the dog. He loves our bacon, the thick slices of bacon. So it was nice to have that for him. It is nice to live life always thinking about other people and their needs, even the little dogs. How much more our children, our spouses, our parents, our neighbors, even if you don't politically agree with them or religiously agree with them. All life is precious. And that is why we here at Tustin Longevity Center are doing these YouTube videos. And we do the blog and we type it out and we try and put articles up on the blog for you. It's not because we want to be famous or well known. It's because you matter. It's because you are the reason for us coming together. And we are like a family. We call this the TLC Health Freedom Tribe. One of our YouTube watchers has said that, gave us that name. And it's such a joy to actually, when I see each one of you, I've known for so many, many years. I have so many old patients that have stuck with me. And it is like a family. So during these holiday seasons, it is a time to reflect on, I care, and I understand how we can get upset with family members, over politics and religion. But you have to understand, we all make mistakes and we all don't see eye to eye, but we can see this. We can see the value of life. And that's what should drive us along. Well, anyway, with that dribbling on, please excuse me for my emotionalism, just having put little Snoopy off 2-3 hours ago now. And I had the veterinarian, Dr. Kavanaugh at Saddleback Veterinary Clinic, right behind our clinic here. Dr. Kavanaugh is so sweet. And the staff, is so nice. It's the same staff that we had when we put down our other family dog, Oscar. And Oscar was such a cute old little shepherd dog. And there we were again, so many, many, many years later with another dog. And it's just nice to have the same people always there, Semper Fidelis. Even Dr. Kavanaugh and the staff got all choked up. So how wonderful you are and the purpose for our being here. So before I drool on anymore, it's enough for emotion. Thank God I didn't put any makeup on. Let's start with our questions. Let's see. Lee asked the question for 4 days for a 4-day low carb rotation diet. If you eat pork and chicken yesterday, you have pork again for lunch. Is it better to eat pork or chicken or beef at dinner? Is it 24-hour rotation or morning to dinner? Why 4 days? Why not 3 or 5 days? Is it related to allergy development? The answer is yes. I'll get into that. She goes on to say, I did the immunofood allergy test. I hold off the food that causes sensitivities for 6 months. Well, that's great. Typically, it's only asked to do 3 months. How do I add them back so that inflammation won't cause health problems? Should I do every 4th day or every week? I really don't detect the difference when I eat the food I tested sensitive to. I understand it's inflammation we try to control. I am thankful to you for your help in healing me as my doctor. God bless me through you. Well, thank you very much, Lee. So the general thing about what we call a 4-day rotation diet, and we use the word simple, a 4-day simple rotation diet. What we mean by that, Lee, is that we ask you to have the idea of having a theme protein, like just a chicken alone day, not mixing chicken and pork on the same day. Now, you haven't done anything wrong. It's just the less variety our immune along the gastrointestinal tract sees, because about 80% of your gut-associated lymphoid tissue is looking at everything you drop down your throat. So the more variety and spices you have in any one day, the harder it is on your immune system surveillance work to do. So if you have a chicken day, then you would say you'd pair it up with a vegetable. Maybe you'd select some nice organic chicken and organic vegetable and some nuts and some berries. And that's what you would eat in that 24-hour period of time. And it doesn't matter what your time selection is. My time selection begins at dinner. So I begin my 24 hours at dinner every evening around 4:30 or so. So that would be the plan that I would eat if I were to eat throughout that 24 hours. Now, I happen to personally eat pretty much a one meal a day, or I'm eating in a window of about 20, 21, 22 hours fasted, and then 2 hours of eating. So it solves the problem in that, I don't have second meals. I just make up one meal. But if I ate, let's say, in a 16-8 window, then I would say I would start my dinner. Let's say it was chicken and green beans, because that's what I pair up, chicken and green beans. And I usually don't have nuts, and I never eat fruit or berries even. So if I have something as simple as chicken and green beans, my only condiments usually are salt and pepper. And then I would have the same thing at lunch. So the next day, so there'd be 16 hours from 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock roughly, and you go to lunch. There's at least 16, 17, 18 hours before I would eat again, and it would just be the chicken and green beans. Then at dinner time, coming up after lunch, then I would change the program to beef. And I usually marry up my broccoli whenever I eat beef. And then I would go all the way till lunch the next day and have my beef and broccoli for lunch, if I had a lunch. But I don't do that anymore. I'm just eating one meal a day. And then the third day would be fish, maybe salmon and asparagus. And then the fourth day would be something like pork, like bacon, and that would be married up with spinach. So I have pork and spinach, I have chicken and green beans, I have beef and broccoli, and then I have salmon and asparagus. Those are my pretty much 4 menus. Now, why do we do 4 days? Because of research, and research science suggests that even if you have leaky gut, and the older we get, the older our tubes are, and the more likely there's breaks through which that food can go down. So if you're sending down the same food, basic food, multiple times, and people don't realize they're sending dairy products down all the time in the form of their cream and their coffee, their cheeses. Very often they don't think of the cheese mixed in with their taco, so you're getting dairy multiple times, day after day after day. And so we're trying to narrow the window of when you're eating. So the whole concept is, we have found it takes about 4 days before the body is immunologically calmed down if there's any reaction to the chicken, let's say, so that you should be able to, after 4 days, resume another piece of chicken or anything. So the concept is 3 months you avoid if you do the immunofoods. That gives time for the whole gut to heal, hopefully with your caring a healthcare provider helping you with a plan and a diet similar to this. And then you're rotating the menu, and then you can usually go back to eating some of the foods that are on those lists on the immunofood, because these are sensitivities, not like immediate reactive IgE, hives, anaphylactic type reactions. These are more secondary breakthrough in the lining of your gut, where your gut lymphocytes got irritated, not to the point that you're necessarily going to make a hive. Those are IgE. We're talking about IgG reactions, and they're slow, and they're not the immediate ones that we're concerned. That's why we think that it's okay if you take a break from them for 3 months. You said you did 6, that you should be able to expose yourself. And many times you don't feel a symptom, because it can take up to 2, 3, 4 days before symptoms develop with food sensitivities. That's why people will say, I eat something and I don't get a reaction. It might take 4 or 5 days. So The whole concept is applying self-discipline in letting food work for you rather than you making your mouth a playground for entertainment every time you eat. And so hopefully, Lee, I helped you with that, giving you those answers. That's the theme of a 4-day, based on the science. And could you make it a 5-day? Do some people make it 7 days? Some people have a menu for every day of the week, and that's fine. That's fine. I just am busy, and I will fall back and have to get to something to eat because I'll get so busy. And so 4 days menus is about all I can kind of keep up with my planning and shopping. Let's see, Marie then said, I just started on a low dose estrogen cream, and ever since I started, I have been in a really bad mood, short-tempered, and sometimes even down. Is this a thing or coincidental? I'm going to say this is probably coincidental because estradiol is designed to help calm the brain. Estradiol is designed to help you get better sleep. Estradiol is usually a mood stabilizer. Now, I do want it to be balanced with progesterone and a healthy diet. So I don't just give estradiol. I tell women who are on estradiol, they need to be low carb. They need to take systemic enzymes. They need to have balancing progesterone given to them, whether it's every day or whether it's 2 weeks out of the month. It pretty much doesn't matter. And these are things that I will take the hormone away from a woman if she's not going to try and be low carb. I would throw in also she should really exercise too. So Marie, I think there's many things about hormones that are very reconstructing, very bone building, immune building, and many times the immune system is a reflection of the deeper depths of sleep that we get when we have our estradiol, and our cardiovascular, our skin integrity, our elastin, collagen levels. So there are many benefits to this. So work with your doctor. I'm not going to say there can't be some idiosyncratic problem because I'm always open to learning. But in general, I think it's more coincidental, Marie. And talk with your doctor. Make sure you're on a balance. Make sure you're watching your carbs, you're exercising, you're drinking enough water. And I would say hang in there and get a follow-up lab test, get some lab levels on your estradiol level and your progesterone level and testosterone, those things, and your blood sugar, insulin, and let your doctor kind of put the picture together for you. Hopefully that's a help to you, Marie. Pamela, I have sent this information to Dr. Merrick, but also I have a phone appointment Friday with a HMO doctor to review the results of an echocardiogram that was done because another functional medicine doctor I saw last September heard something new in my heart sounds. The exam notes normal ejection fraction of 60 to 65%. That means the heart is contracting nice and squirting out enough blood. There's mild left ventricular hypertrophy, meaning the major squirt muscle, the left ventricle, is a slightly big, thick, and that can show up with hypertension and stuff and age, but it said mild. So, and proximal ascending thoracic aorta, 3.8 centimeters, suggests aortic ectasia. So aortic ectasia is a mild generalized dilation of the aorta. I would say you said 3.8 centimeters. 3 centimeters is what I believe in my training is the limit. I'm sure it could maybe be a little bit more, but in general, I seem to recall 3 centimeters. So it does seem mildly a little bit bigger than it should, but I don't know your whole body habitus or how you look or what your health history is or your exercise history or your medication history or your age. After doing a little reading, I'm assuming that they're going to suggest blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure is often 130/40/80 at clinics. That's, borderline. Oh, I'm 56. Started hormone replacement about a year ago. Hashimoto's, and just had a lot of functional medicines drawn and waiting for all the results. Any suggestions to prepare for what the allopathic doctor will be saying to me? Thank you. Well, that, you went on to give me your age and that you probably are on no medicines except they're thinking about giving you blood pressure medicines. High blood pressure, I would wonder if you had been received an injection of the mRNA for COVID from Pfizer or Moderna. That would be a question that I would want to know. The other thing would be, do you drink enough water? Do you exercise regularly? What is your fasting insulin? Do you have insulin resistance, which thickens the lining of your blood vessels? Getting a low blood sugar is very important. Having a fasting insulin that's around a 4 or less. Now, the standard labs in America say a fasting insulin of up to 20, I've seen it as high as 25 as being called normal. That's absolutely not normal. And we ask all our patients here to be a fasting insulin of 4 or less. And we recommend intermittent fasting, drinking plenty of water, start a regular aerobic and weight resistance training program if you're able to do that. Of course, if your doctor says it's okay. And EDTA chelation therapy, EDTA chelation helps the microcirculation. So the pressure against which that heart is pushing to squirt the blood out to the rest of your body, if it opens up, chelation opens up all the microvasculature that tends to get clogged and collapsed with aging. And we all tend to not drink enough water with aging. So EDTA chelation. The other thing is systemic enzymes. They disinflame. They chew up little proteinaceous debris. They're like little pieces. I call them soap suds. I take 4 Vitalzyme in the morning. I take 4 or 5 in the evening when I go to bed. And I think of them as little soap suds in me. Of course, I drink enough water. One of my Christmas presents was this picture. And this is a 16-ounce cup. It is... it looks like a cup, but it's supersized, so it deceives you into drinking more water. So got to knock down 2 or 3 of those while I'm here every day. So those are some ideas that I would be thinking about. Magnesium, of course, would be valuable. Looking at your fasting insulin, fasting blood sugar, HSCRP, sedimentation rate, but certainly follow up with your cardiologist. We have a wonderful cardiologist I refer to. I think he's so down to earth and pragmatic. His name is Dr. Kelly Tucker, T as in Tom, UCKER, and he's in Orange, and he's great. And he knows our clinic. He loves our patients because we dovetail with him in that we are training up our patients to assume responsibility for themselves. And I know many of my patients want to get off of medications if it's at all possible. And so, yeah, he doesn't like dumping a bunch of medicines on anyone either, or a lot of invasive therapies. So Pamela, I guess that's the direction I would go, and talk with your doctor, talk with Dr. Merrick about some of these suggestions and see how that helps you. Let's see, Kim, my 88-year-old father has been experiencing swollen feet and ankles over the past several months. And when she says swollen feet and ankles, plural, I assume it's bilateral. He wears compression socks and keeps his feet elevated when he watches TV. He's not on any medication. I told him to exercise more. Excellent. But not sure he will actually do that. Is there anything else he can do to reduce the fluid buildup? I'm going to say EDTA chelation helps move the fluids in our body. Circulation helps move. Exercise helps the circulation and move the fluids in our body. The other thing is a rebounder. If you got your father a rebounder with a bar on it, it's that little mini trampoline and it's got a bar so you can hold on it and bounce, that is an entire body lymphatic system. And that would, if he did like 2-3 minutes in the morning after he gets up, and then 2-3 minutes midday and 2-3 minutes in the evening, that would greatly help your father. So that's the direction, along with enzymes, systemic enzymes. And hopefully that would be a help, Kim. Linda, can you please recommend a detox protocol because of the December food fest? Oh, yeah, it has been horrific for me. Lots of laugh. Well, Linda, I do a 5-day water fast from the 1st of January in the evening after our New Year's Day dinner. And I don't eat a thing for 5 days until the 6th of January. I did a 3-day fast from last Thursday after dinner until Sunday dinner when we had our Christmas. So I often throw in these fasts, and can you still believe I'm as big as I am? But long and the short of it is fasting is one of the quickest, best detoxifiers. Now, I have been doing this for so many years, I can easily do a 3-day fast without even thinking. I didn't plan it. I wasn't planning on doing a fast per se before Christmas. But I was so busy. I finished work up on Thursday, and with all the packages and everything to do and planning for Christmas dinner and cleaning the house, I just got so busy. I thought, why don't I just fast? And so bingo, 3 days later, and there was Christmas dinner in the late afternoon, 4:00, 4:30 on Sunday, and I hadn't eaten for 3 days. 3 days. So I think a water fast is wonderful. And I built up to this over the years. I started incorporating intermittent fasting by giving up all my breakfasts for years. And then I started skipping lunch, and then I would go dinner to dinner 24 hours. Then I started doing that 2 or 3 times a week. Then I started linking them together, going 2 days without eating. And so just work on it in a progression. I think that's the best thing to do. Your body is fearfully and wonderfully made, and it knows how to heal itself. Now, I do take all my supplements. When I'm fasting, I will take all my supplements. So I've got my evening package right here. So this is what I will take this evening with a bunch of water. And when I'm fasting, I take it. Now, the only thing I don't take when I'm fasting are my digestive enzymes, which are these right here, orthodigestzyme, because I haven't eaten anything. So why would I take it? So it enhances the power of the nutraceuticals that I take, the vitamin supplementations that I take, and my enzymes work better, faster, deeper. And I think I did an IV chelation on Thursday. No, I did it on Wednesday last week. So I did a chelation. That always is a powerful detox support. Let's see, Dorothy says, what is the best way to stifle a sore throat? I was told to gargle with hot salt water every 4 hours, use as hot as water as I can. I don't think that that's the right way to go with hot water, as hot as it can be. Instead, I would get some Argentine silver, or go to the health food store and get Sovereign silver. That's half strength, but it's excellent. And take a swig of the liquid, swish and gargle, and then swallow it as well. You can also get it in a nasal spray and squirt it up your nose. Fasting is one of the best ways to deal with a sore throat. See, starve a cold, feed a fever has always been known by Grandma. And now we have all the science and the big shots that all the big shot research centers are now finally agreeing that Grandma has always been right. So that's what I would do. Of course, vitamin C. 500 milligrams 4 times a day, 5 times a day, is very good. And taking vitamin D, of course, 5,000 international units. Maybe at the onset of getting ill, let's say if I really feel I'm coming down with a flu or something, I'll take 50,000 international units of vitamin D3, and I'll do 50,000 a day for 5 days. And then after the fifth day, I drop back down to my normal 10 or 15,000 a day. So that'd be another thing, Dorothy. Let's see, Regina said, is it possible that using hormone replacement therapy, both progesterone and estrogen, can be causing my breasts to get larger? I had a reduction years back and am up almost 2 cup sizes again. I suppose anything is possible, but I would say I've been treating women with natural hormone replacement therapy for closing on 35 years now, at least. And I just don't see that as a common complaint. So I'm going to have to say, Regina, no, I don't think that's related into going up 2 cup sizes. We as women, we tend to gain weight with age. Our body fat composition goes up, our muscle mass declines. I would take iodine. Make sure you're on some iodine, Regina. I would do some fasting, take your enzymes, and see your doctor and have them evaluate you and see what your breast imaging has been like. John asked the question, what protocol should a person follow to activate heat shock proteins when using far infrared sauna? Well, I have a far infrared sauna in my bedroom, and I try and stay in that sauna when I do it 40 minutes. And I will take my temperature beforehand. It's, 98.6 or 98 degrees. And then when I come out, my temperature is about 101. Fever is one of the best ways to stimulate heat shock proteins. That stimulates a whole cascade of immune enhancing cascade that helps your immune system. That's why doing it 3 or 4 times a week is a very, very powerful and life extending phenomena. It would help any and all situations. So the protocol, measure your temperature before you go in, and then check your temperature when you come out. If your temperature isn't getting up to at least 101, you're not staying in long enough to get those heat shock proteins going. Tara says, hi, Dr. Rita. I've asked you previous questions regarding EDTA, but my current question is, when I'm doing EDTA at 1,500 milligrams and 1,500 milligrams of glutathione once a week for gadolinium toxicity, a total of 5 so far, why do I feel more confused and mentally out of it? Does it make you feel worse before it makes you feel better? Is that pretty normal? And can you do anything to combat the cognitive symptoms? For reference, I'm 31 and female and also anemic. Thank you and God bless. Yes, that's all possible. And remember, we're moving out toxins that have bioaccumulated. And these toxins are being pulled out and urinated out. So be well hydrated, drink plenty of water, be low carb, take systemic enzymes like Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme on an empty stomach, maybe even before you go for the IV. And then consider not eating after doing an IV. So you can eat before in the morning or whatever. I don't know what time you're doing it. But if you fast and drink a lot of water, that should be supportive. So toxins are being moved. They make us feel yucky like a flu. And that's probably it. Now, the other thing may be you may have to separate out doing a glutathione IV at a separate time instead of right at the same time you're doing an EDTA chelation. So I'm not sure who your doctor is. If it's me, I rarely allow glutathione infusions to be on the same day as EDTA chelation, simply because it's moving a lot of toxins. And that may be what you need to talk about. So if you're a patient here, call the number and get this question into your chart so that we can look and see where you're at on this, and maybe separate the two. Get in some enzymes, get well hydrated, and try and fast after the IVs, drinking tons of water so it promotes the detoxing phenomena. And then I have this question from Constance. Can vitamin E suppositories help and shrink hemorrhoids? Can vitamin E suppositories? That's an old protocol from decades ago, Constance. And it had never been something spectacular that took hold, because I just never, either the patients didn't like using the suppository usually. Secondly, they didn't do it long enough. But yeah, vitamin E is very valuable in cell membrane, like our membrane picture back here. The phospholipids can be damaged by free radical oxidative stress, and vitamin E stops that. And when you have hemorrhoids, you have tissues, the actual bulging out of a vein is showing that those cell membranes, the bilipid membranes, are just getting disintegrated. And so, yes, vitamin E does help with that, but it also helps if you're taking it orally. So I have never prescribed a vitamin E suppository, and so I haven't really endorsed it, but I have heard of them before. I understand the physiology and the biochemistry of why it should work, but I would take it orally. I would get a good vitamin E is made of tocopherols and tocotrienols, and there's 4 of each, 4 tocopherols and 4 tocotrienols. So when you buy your vitamin E, make sure it's in a dark container so light doesn't get to it, and preserves the wonderful antioxidant power of the various divisions of the vitamin E family. But you've got to get a very high quality product, and then I would take it, maybe twice a day and see how that does. All right, so let's see what our questions are here along the way. Let's see. We have. All right, Rosa says, hello, doctor. Can I take bovine colostrum capsules during fasting? Yes, you can. And I don't think you should feel that you have destroyed your fast by doing that. I don't think I take anything that has anything in it. Sometimes I'll use my Perfect Aminos. Dr. Meinkenhoff and Dr. Schellenberger has reported on its muscle healing and recovery, because I work out 5 times a week, and I need those amino acids to build up my muscles. So yeah, I think that'd be fine, Rosa. Carol says, our hearts are with you. Dogs are the most beautiful beings of love and devotion. Wishing you love and light in 2023. Thank you, Carol. Linda Hart says, Dr. Ellithorpe, what do you think of the red light helmets for hair growth? Well, there's been some science published that the light wave length that are in those infrared lights that are applied are valuable. And that is because it helps with the capillaries that are on your scalp, feeding your hair. So yeah, I think there's some good science that has come from it. And, I don't know a particular product or anything to recommend, but I have read the science, and I think it's reasonable. Let's see. RC 24888. Hi. Beautiful thoughts. You represent the best of your profession. Cheers, Richard. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Richard. Praise the Lord. To him be all the glory. Okay, Lucy says, praying for you and your family. Our fur babies are family. They are, aren't they? And they've taught us so much, help preparing us to become adults and good parents. Linda says, so sorry about your fur baby. We feel your sorrow, praying for you and family. Thank you. Lua, hope you had a Merry Christmas. Found you through Pastor Bruce Mejia podcast. And so glad I did. Thank you, Lua. Merry Christmas back to you. David says, Dear Rita, we're sorry and saddened by the loss of today of your beloved Snoopy. May his memory be for blessings in the book of life. Amen. You will meet again. We love you. Thank you, David. You know, I had a dream, David, one time. I think the Lord has given me some dreams. I believe they're from the Lord because they're crystal clear, and I can't forget them. So 4 or 5 dreams I've had since my childhood. And one of those dreams, David, was I'm suddenly in a beautiful meadow full of flowers. And it's, of course, gorgeous day with trees all around it. And this meadow, is big and wide. And the flowers were so colorful and the smells, and they were singing. There was music coming from the flowers. And this must have been when I must have been like 25. So that's 30, 40, 43 years ago. Okay. And my dog Skipper, we had our first dog with John and me. We called him Skipper, and he was a sheepdog. He was very intelligent. And he had just died, or shortly around there. And I saw him hopping in the meadow before me, and he was crushing the flowers. And I said, "Oh, Skipper, don't do that. You're hurting the flowers." But I saw them bounce right back and continue their beautiful song. And I knew my husband was right on the left of me. John was right near me. And I just knew that we were in heaven, and I knew my dog Skipper was there. So, David, praise God, he gave me that wonderful, wonderful dream. And I have it in my thoughts at any time. Praise God. Let's see. Linda says, what do you suggest for a detox after the holiday eating? Well, Linda, did I have that one before? Yeah, Linda, a detox. So I think I answered that. Linda, I would do a fast. I don't go for these protein shake fasts. I don't go for these, these buy this supplement and do a detox. I'm not saying they're not valuable. And if you've never detoxed, maybe they're a good first step. I know Orthomolecular has the Core Restore Kit, and it's got the menus and the guidelines. It has the beginning nutrients to kind of build you up as the detox begins, and then it gives you the second nutrient to help facilitate the detoxing, and it's called Core Restore. It's 7 days, or they have a way to turn it into a 14-day detox. But I honestly want you to, not spend money, and to rather learn that your body knows how to heal. And if you will fast, learn about fasting, move into it with intermittent fasting, where you give up breakfasts, and then you have an empty stomach for, 16 hours a day. And if you can go that and just eat in an 8-hour window, then you're detoxing. Then if you get to the ability where you can skip a lunch as well, then you'll be going dinner to dinner. And that's wonderful detoxing, as long as you're drinking enough water, you're getting movement, exercise, you're getting a good night's sleep, you're eating a low carb diet, you're getting enough protein and healthy fats. That's the way to go, Linda. Not looking for a group event or a purchasable item. Yeah, because this is a lifestyle that we're adopting at any day and moment of our life that we need to detox. Let's see. Dolores says, so sorry to hear of your loss of Snoopy. He was part of your family. May the Lord give you peace. Thank you. Thank you, Dolores. Deborah, so sorry to hear about Snoopy. Yeah. Debbie is my sister, so she knows Snoopy. Such a part of the family. Yes, I know. Love you all. Garden Fairy. Hi, I'm the 56-year-old who asked about my echo. My insulin level was 11, which I know is high. I exercise, but need more. Need more water. Just took my Vascuzyme bottle out of the drawer. Good girl. Okay. Look at, this whole purpose of this YouTube video is to encourage you to make more and more better choices. None of us is perfect, including me. I am not your perfect eater. I'm not your perfect rotation diet person. But I'll tell you, I try and I try and I get more success days than I get failure days. And it took me years to get back into exercise. So Garden Fairy, you just keep on doing the right thing, pulling out that Vascuzyme. You keep on showing up here, and we will continue to lift you up and encourage you. Lucy says, is reformer Pilates good exercise? Yes, it is. But you have to do enough of it. So there is the, the resistance on these machines, and work them. Lucy, I don't know exactly who you are or what your dimensions are, what your specific needs are, but I do Pilates twice a week on a reformer. But I also add in, I personally do the perfect workout. I have this, the perfect workout, and I go there 3 times a week. It's only 20 minutes, but my time is very limited. So I nail it 3 times a week, and I work as hard as I can for 20 minutes. And so I get my resistance training in, and then I get my stretching and a full hour of my reformer Pilates, and then I'll do walks and stuff like that. But yes, I'm glad you're doing that. What of your diabetic? I don't quite understand, Lucy, what that question is. What of your diabetic? I would just say if you are a diabetic, the more important that you exercise, because muscle mass helps with so many aspects of metabolism, and you need to maintain your muscle mass, which we lose with age. Garden Fairy says, also no vaccines since 2006, had COVID last January. Wonderful, Garden Fairy. I'm glad about that. And then let's see what else she said. I learned I shouldn't have labs drawn when under a lot of stress. I was stress finishing up coursework, 12:22 at 2 a.m. Okay, had labs drawn 12:23. I wonder if that stress could have affected it. Yes, it can definitely affect the insulin. Absolutely, Garden Fairy. So indeed, work on that. I'm going to sip here. Let's see. Laura says, hello, doctor. Recommendations for autoimmune ANA positive patient with red flush histamine issues from multiple food allergies and joint pain issues. Thank you. I have always seen the anti-nuclear antibody positive turn negative after people detox their mercury levels. And I've just seen this over and over and over the decades with chelation therapy. Mercury is so toxic. It's on the list of the most toxic agents in the CDC. There's 257 of them. And in the top 7, mercury is one of them. Lead is one of them. Arsenic is one of them. Cadmium is one of them. And I think aluminum is in the top 7 too. I forget the other 2. And so I've always seen that when we do chelation therapy, that goes away. But I've always done chelation therapy in conjunction with helping people to learn to back away from the marketing of food packaging and restaurant packaging of the MSGs and the high fructose corn syrup glazes and all that. So it would be hard to just extract one therapy alone out of my suggestions. So yeah, I teach always to simplify and humble your diet and lower the carbs. I do that with everyone. I tell them all to drink enough water. I tell them all never to eat late. I tell them all to use enzymes systemically at least and digestively, and I get their blood type. A-type blood people are the number one to have the earliest stressor on the gut lining with leaky gut and inflammation from these food sensitivities. Second in line would be the O-type blood. Um, that's just my experience over 40 years in studying this. And if I had time, I should write some books. I'm trying now to develop a course training program for other doctors. And I tell you, I need another lifetime. But anyway, maybe the Lord will let me live long enough. And these wonderful doctors who work here with me, if they work well, I am going to be stepping more back into the background and only limitedly seeing patients as I do develop these training programs, because we have wonderful doctors. Our new Dr. Johnson is excellent. He's eager to see his patients improve and grow. So Dr. Kaur has been with me, another naturopath, just an excellent physician. Dr. Merrick runs our thermography, her thermography program as well. Dr. Mitchell, even though she's going to be moving to San Francisco with her husband's new job, she's so dedicated. She wants to stay in telehealth for some of her patients here. I mean, and then P.A. Patel is just a fabulous new upcoming young healthcare provider, and on it goes. So praise God and pray for us. Let's see. So that's what I would recommend, Laura. What would cause larger painful blood clots during menstrual cycles? How to help alleviate? Well, systemic enzymes and using progesterone cyclically from day 15 through 25 over and over again. I'd say 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 of all my patients who use progesterone day 15 through 25, rubbing on the cream, and they use Vascuzyme or Vitalzyme anti-inflammatory. I mean, not just 1 or 2. I'm talking like 4 or 5 twice a day, especially building up to that menstrual cycle, and drink enough water and be low carb. I've seen that do miracles. Amila, hi. So sorry about your loss, Dr. Rita. May God bless your pain. Amen. Thank you, Amila. Let's see, where are we at? I lost. Oh, okay. Laura says, how do you recommend treating chronic ringworm rash? That is a fungal skin issue, and I shower with. I have my patients, and I myself always shower or bathe with Selsun Blue Selenium shampoo. It's a 2% selenium-based shampoo, and that's an antifungal for the skin, and that'll help your toenails and your feet and all that kind of stuff too. You could actually take a dab of it off the top of the Selsun Blue and then rub that right on to where that area is. The other thing is I use Argentyn Silver. That also kills it. Or we have it as a spray. And be low carb. You have to eat low carb and get your fasting insulin and your fasting blood sugar checked. Let's see. Cynthia, hello, and thank you for taking our questions. Is chelation therapy available for those who are not yet patients? May God continue to bless. Yes, Cynthia, we have walk-ins. Now, when you're walk-in, I can't give as high a dose as I would if you were my patient, but our registered nurses will do a mini history and physical. The only thing we want to make sure is that you are not in heart failure, congestive heart failure, chronic atrial fibrillation, and have kidney disease with a high creatinine. If you basically have normal labs and your history, no history of kidney disease or heart failure, everyone can be a walk-in and start doing some chelation therapy. I feel so strongly about it. I've made this available. And I'm here all the time, except I did force myself to take a few days off for a change at Christmas. But I'm a block or two away, so they can call me if they have any questions, and I can be here in 3 minutes. So there you go. That's what I would recommend. Al says, sorry for your loss. What are your thoughts about the impact of a keto diet on mental health? I find that it is invigorating because carbohydrates. Everyone who eats Thanksgiving dinner gets depressed and sleepy. You know, they all fall asleep. Cleaning up the brain is well understood with a low carb diet. Uh, what is his name? The Bredesen Peterson. I don't know. Anyway, he's a neurologist, and then there's Perlmutter as well. But there are these doctors who are finally picking up on the low carb and the ketogenic diet. It is most brain stimulating because natural brain stimulating factors, growth factors for the brain, are in a low carb fasting state. So yes, I think it's wonderful. Dolores says, may you and your family have a blessed new year. Thank you. I appreciate your giving and sharing your time and wisdom. Thank you. God bless you, Dolores. Thank you. Cholesterol came back type B pattern. How to treat most effectively. Have trouble digesting fat for years. Could it be related? Laura, I'm going to say that you're probably talking about the LDL subfraction. And that's type A and type B, and that means that there's too many smaller, numerically too many smaller LDL subfraction. That speaks to a higher carbohydrate diet. Fasting and exercise in a low carb diet, and it sounds like if you've had this for years and you're young enough to still have menstrual cycles and clots that are heavy with a menstrual cycle. You probably are a blood type A, I would bet. And so if you've had trouble digesting fat, A's always have lack of digestive enzymes. Therefore, they gravitate to the higher carbohydrate diets because they're easier to digest, but it aggravates your cardiovascular metabolism and cholesterol and insulin levels. So find a good functional doctor, get your fasting insulin without a stressful day. And find out your blood type and lower the carbs and use a digestive enzyme. We use OrthoDigesTzyme. This is the one we use because it has both betaine hydrochloric acid and the enzymes that help you digest your fat and your proteins better so that you're more satiated. So hopefully that'll be a help to you, Laura. Australia says, 83-year-old mother takes cholesterol and thyroid medicines, dry cough for a year, recently diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis on the lining of all lobes. Doctor wants to start Ofev. Your thoughts? Vascuzyme will help. Chelation therapy will help. Hormone replacement therapy helps. Exercise helps. A low carb diet helps. And then I don't know what Ofev is. I'm going to have to write that down. FEV. Pulmonary function test, fibrosis. Okay. So I wouldn't be able to speak to that, but Australia, I would talk to a functional doctor about those things to help your mother with. Lucy, let's see. We're going to have to wrap up here, so I won't take any more questions, but what I see here up to the point of interesting. Laura says she's blood type O. Well, then, Laura, yeah, always you need to see a good functional doctor, and O's can have a lot of trouble with dairy and wheat from the glyphosation and the GMO workings of it creates a problem. And so we would work with you on that, or a functional doctor would work with you on that. So Lucy says, where can I get that great water cup and picture? You know, it was one of our suppliers for, I think, our lab, because I don't know, it was a gift. So it just came in a box and I threw the box away. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Laura, thank you. Christina, hi doctor, wishing you a blessed 2023. Sorry to hear of your loss. My 6-year-old boy has a few cavities and will be going to the dentist tomorrow. Do you have any advice? I'm afraid of the poisons they use. I think he'll be fine. Okay. But to prevent it, you've got to take a stand on the sugars in their diet, even in the school food programs and stuff. You have to have good oral hygiene, of course. Make sure your son is brushing morning and evening and not sneaking little snacks at night and letting that sugar just help feed the acid producing bacteria in the mouth. The other thing is Juice Plus is known by dental research medical schools for preventing periodontal and dental diseases. So I would look down those lines. And I think Argentine Silver, if you sprayed his mouth or had him take a little teaspoon, swish and swallow, both pre and post any dental, that'll prevent bacterial infections and stuff. Uh, let's see. Laura says, does chelation therapy work in office? How does it differ from taking daily binders such as chlorella, zeolite, bentonite clay from removing metals on our body and using a device like PEMF? Well, that's a slow method of detoxing, but it is nowhere as powerful as the 70 plus years of history of EDTA chelation therapy. So I'm not going to say chlorella isn't going to do some, especially what you're taking in the diet. It will help with binding it off the foods you're eating. Same with zeolite. But as far as pulling it out of your fat stores and your bone and area there, you're talking about IV chelation is the way to go. Night, sister. Get some good rest. Okay, Deborah. I will obey my big sister, Deborah, and I will go to bed. All right. So the Lord bless you and keep you all, and hug each other and hug your animals, and give yourself to someone else and live for someone else, especially the Lord. And this world will be a wonderful place. All right. Good night, folks. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you next Tuesday.